Hello everybody, back again. Today we are going to extend our UI Extensions trilogy on with the second part, and we are in AIOps Explained, and we want to go into dashboarding topics. I have Joshua Suckling with me. He's an IBM software developer and he's responsible in the AIOps area, and he's part of IBM Research and Development. And we do have possibilities. Dashboarding can be done in two ways within the Cloud Pak for AIOps. You can either download and install the Cognos Analytics package, which is separately available as you have AIOps entitlement. You also have entitlement for doing Cognos Analytics. Or you could do the User Interface Extensions Toolkit, which this video is all about. So in the last and first part, we have introduced the overall topic. We have talked you through where in the GitHub repository to find this package, how to get started, how to set up your cluster, how to download and install the package. And within this part today, we are going to run you through a sample dashboard. And there's a last part coming up in this mini-series, which is going to make a deep dive into the toolkit itself. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce also a blog from Zane, which is addressing the same topic, which is talking you through the whole thing. And you can use copy and paste all the commands and links which are in the blog directly. So here's the link, search for the community, and then look for the Cloud Pak for AIOps Dashboard Extensions Toolkit, and then you should be set. Okay, now it's demo time, and I'll hand over to Joshua to talk you through to today's topic, running you through a sample dashboard. Over to you.
Hey folks, welcome to part 2 of my mini-series on the AIOps UI extension template, also known as dashboarding toolkit. If you remember in video 1 where we left off, we'd effectively configured this cluster I've got for use with the dashboarding toolkit, and we'd actually deployed some of the samples. So again, I'll just quickly reopen one to show. This is the alerts workflow we saw last time. It's a simple example with this sort of workflow tool on the left that will show you new alerts, acknowledged and ticketed alerts for different categories, and that can be configured. You can do it by resource, team, etc. And of course, you could extend that using the toolkit, whichever categories make sense for you and your workflow. In this video, what I want to do is just show another example that I've actually built myself using the toolkit. And again, another example of sort of deploying something to the cluster and how that side of thing works. And the building of it will come in part 3. The goal was to actually try and recreate something like this. And for anyone who's familiar with WebGUI and the NOI portfolio, this should hopefully be familiar. And these are called monitor boxes and effectively allow you to get a little window into your data for a particular filter. In the top example here, top left, it's got this particular filter selected at the top. It's got a total count of alerts for the filter, the highest severity, lowest severity, and then a metric. In this case, the metric appears, well, in all the cases, appears to just equal the total. So I'm not worrying about that in my example. But yeah, of course, if you wanted a particular metric yourself, you could build that in. And then, yeah, the graph just shows a simple bar chart showing the breakdown of the severities, the quantity of alerts for each. There's a collection of filters here, different rows and columns. If we wanted to, we could create something ourselves that mimic this. And that's what I've done using the toolkit. If I just go back into the toolkit, I'm not going to go and build the components now. I've already done that and I'll talk through that in video 3. But the first thing we need to do is just check have we actually got the components ready for use in our source files. So if I go to source index.js, you may have spotted previously that I had this extra custom panel registered at the bottom called monitor boxes. I'm not going to go into the breakdown as said, but all we know is we can use this monitor boxes panel inside our routes. So if I then go back into routes.json, again, you may remember from last time, we had this menu routes definition here with the example dashboards category, and that ties in with this menu block here. So this is a category with the different routes underneath, and then you've got the individual routes below that. What I'm going to do, I've got another version of this routes file with my own new route added. So I'm going to take that route. I'm just going to copy and paste it into this file here. And basically the panel ID matches that we just saw in the index file before. The bundle path is the same. We're still using alerts examples. We're giving it a title. We're giving it a path / monitor boxes. And then what we need to do is take that and add that into either the existing category or a new category, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'll just grab that and paste it in. Basically, I'm creating a second category in my menu now for custom dashboards, as I've called it, and it's just got that single new route monitor boxes. Obviously, categories are great if you want to sort of break things down into different categories for types of work or types of resource or whatever it is you're looking at. In this case, we've just got a simple example with one. I'm going to save that, and literally all I need to do now is just run deploy again. If I just do that in my terminal, it'll rerun the build. Now, in our case, the build already had the code in it. We just didn't have a route defined to point to it. So now it will take that, take the new routes, publish them to the cluster, and then we'll be ready to go and see it live in action. So it's just performing the upload again now. And then once it's done that, we'll just have to give it a minute or two to get started. Well, I mentioned this in video 1, but in my environment, I've got a few changes. So there are certain things you may see in this demo and in this panel that you wouldn't be able to do today. But anything I have created here, I'm going to try and make available either in the toolkit or the product itself, so that others can do the same. If you've got particular use cases that you're trying to fulfill with your custom panels, then please let us know and we'll see what we can do to extend the toolkit to facilitate those. Okay, so it's probably not quite been a minute, but let's have a look. So I've come back in. As you can see, we just had the original example dashboards category. I'm going to hit refresh. Oh no, we're ready already. Excellent. So you'll see now we've got this extra category, custom dashboards, with our single route monitor boxes. So I'm going to click on that and it should open up for us. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, what's going on? Where are the monitor boxes? So this effectively is a simple multi-select drop down that allows you to choose which filters you want to see. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could pre-configure it for the specific filters you want, but this is a nice way to be able to sort of chop and change them on the fly. So let's start with something simple. We'll choose all alerts. We'll maybe choose alerts with topology. You could also choose just critical, although for a severity breakdown that doesn't really make sense. And maybe we can look at things in the last 7 days too. Okay, now if I click away from the multi-select, I'll be able to see all of those monitor boxes I created. For the first one, it's pretty simple. That's all the alerts that we saw in the alert list previously in video 1. There are 58 alerts. The highest severity is critical, and then we've got information as the lowest. As mentioned, I'm not using the metric here because the metric was seemingly useless in that example. Yeah, if you wanted to add that in, you could, and we'll talk about that in video 3. And then, yeah, it just gives a breakdown of the alert count for each of the severities. There is a simple tooltip. I haven't configured this, but it does sort of show, okay, the Y value 53. So we know that for group 2, which is this information count, there are 53 alerts. You could obviously configure that so it says severity and count. Again, more stuff we could talk about in video 3. You've got the other monitor boxes here as well. Obviously, there's only one critical alert and there's no alerts for the last 7 days. But what we can then do is we can actually click on these to go to an alert list and see a breakdown. So let's take alerts with topology. You saw there was a sort of hover state, and as I click on this, it will launch into the alert list and it will give you that filtered alert list using the filter we had before. As you can see, there's 58 alerts that we saw and all of them have topology enrichment. And close that, go back. Let's just say I wanted critical. We'll try this one. Again, we'll click it. I've chosen for it to open this in a new tab, but you could do it in different ways that suit your way of working. But yeah, it's pulled it up with this filter, just the critical alert showing. So yeah, successful. Now, one thing you could do if you wanted to extend this further is obviously create more filters. Right now, this is just showing all the filters I've got in the alert list. So if you wanted different things for particular filters, particular use cases, then you'd have to go and create those filters and then you'd see those appear in here. As you can see, for a number of the filters, there's no data. It's sort of stale data I've had in the cluster for a while. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you tune into video 3, we'll give a bit of a breakdown as to how this component is composed. You just saw it refresh there as well, which is great. And we'll talk in more detail about how you can extend things for your own use cases. All right, thanks. Hey folks, so I just wanted to make a quick little addition here for those that weren't familiar with the filter builder and how we actually extend this. So as I explained, if you want to take this further, you just need to create some more filters that can be added. Right now, if we go into the alert list, we'll go operate alerts, and you'll see in the list of filters, it's the same filters we were working with in our list earlier, albeit these are sorted and my list was not. But again, something you could fix very easily. What we want to do is, let's say we want to do something based on the resource. So I don't know, let's pick this one here, simple 2.4. Actually looks like there's only one alert for it. Okay, let's do something slightly different. Let's focus on these VETA or ETAS2 alerts. So what I'm going to do is open up the filter side panel. I'm just going to scroll along a bit again. There we go. And what I want to do now is these are in resource. So I'm going to go for other properties, add a condition, and then if we scroll down, we'll find resource, and then we're looking for name. And then rather than equals, let's go with starts with, and then it's going to be VETAS2, and then string in there. And then if we apply it, you'll see those 3 alerts have appeared here now. And what we want to do is save that. Now, we don't want to save that into our all alerts filter, sorry. We want to go and save it as a new filter. So top right, save as new filter, and we're going to call it TAS alerts. Okay, I'm not worried about RBAC at this stage. Everyone can see and use this. And now the list is refreshed and we can see those alerts. Great. Now, if we go back into our monitor boxes dashboard, and then in here we can now see VETAS alerts, and it's got those 3 alerts. They were all just information shown in the dashboard. And once more, if I click this and go through, you'll be able to see those 3 alerts. If you want to extend, again, it's pretty simple. Create a new filter, you'll see it appear in that list, and then you're good to go. Okay, thanks again for watching. Cheers.
Thank you, Joshua. That was incredibly expressive, as usual, of course. And now we'd like to conclude the whole video with a few links. So, of course, there is documentation available. We are within the Cloud Pak for AIOps, and currently we have released version number 4.10.0. And if you want to go into this AIOps user interface extensions toolkit, then you need to go to Git, and out of the AIOps documentation set, you have this page, which has an embedded link in here, which gets you to Git. So that's to get a hook into the documentation, and that brings you here. And from here, you can download, fork this package, and then use it as discussed in the video. And with that, we are done for today. Looking forward to the deep dive in the 3rd part. And I'd like to thank you, Joshua, for preparing this video as well. I'd like to thank you, the audience, for paying attention to this video. And until we see in another video of AIOps Explained, I'd like to say thank you and goodbye. Bye.